75 years ago, a 71-year-old ex-slave held me in her hand, slapped me on my bottom, and started in motion one of the greatest creations the world has ever known. The body is that amazing system that is always seeking a way to heal itself. And I think that what I've discovered over these 75 years is that it is a wonderful system.
Eric Rumler, also known as Trout.
Otter and Trout Trading Company.
I'm an associate professor in business administration of all things. It was completely surreal. I have been a professor in sociology. I was an English professor, and I've been teaching in the College of Medicine for the last decade. I was a medical copywriter, and I'm now a faculty member in the Clinical and Translational Science Institute. I don't do research in medicine. I do research on communication in medicine, like rhetoric in medicine, medical writing. I've actually done some stuff on zebra disorders and people who should have been diagnosed correctly and weren't, and behavioral economics and how it works in heuristics and decision-making in medicine. So I'll go toe-to-toe with any of these people.
I have been using herbal medicine from Brother Clements since, I would say, maybe 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years now. I chose some of his herbs because of my ailments. I have back problems, I have anti-inflammatory problems in the joints, and I have allergies. So he has made up me some herbal medicine.
We started off with a very small booth doing primarily my artwork, and she had a few ceremonial herbs, and there was a lot of people that were coming to her for advice herbally, and the herb business grew from that.
I've got one disease that's one genetic disorder that affects 1 in 250,000 births, and most of the people who have it die, and they die in their sleep in adolescence if they survive fetally. I first got diagnosed when I was 13. Then he basically showed me in the textbook, because they never see a living patient with it ever. These people die. So the second genetic disorder I have feeds into the first one, so I'll get to this anyway. My body overexpresses collagen, type 2 collagen fibers. So it is profoundly systemic. It affects every cell in my body. So I basically, the endothelium and the little blood vessels, the little cells lining your blood vessels, they don't constrict. So I'm very heat tolerant, except that I'm so heat tolerant I have a heat stroke, because my body doesn't cool itself, because they're kind of flaccid. So all my cells are kind of flaccid. So it's hard for me to build lean body mass. My stomach is kind of paralyzed. I got told I had the sinuses of a cystic fibrosis patient. My lungs are asthmatic. I have small bowel dysmotility. I herniate. I have 53 fractures. I've dislocated. They've had to rebuild a lot of my joints. I've dislocated. I can't tell you how many times.
Naturopathy as a whole is dealing with the use of natural elements as a way to coming into balance and wellness with the body and mind and spirit and the whole being. Instead of just focusing in on a few symptoms, it's looking at the whole package, and it's not using pharmaceutical drugs and that kind of thing for healing. It's just using what nature provides. Naturopathy includes things like homeopathy, but homeopathy is another segment altogether. Homeopathy is taking an essence from a plant or an animal or a mineral and using it to kind of like to cure like. So if you were to have a snake bite, you would use an essence of snake venom to heal the bite.
The big culprit in allopathic medicine, side effects. There are no known side effects for most herbal medicines. There are no known side effects, period. There is simply an overuse, and when one overdoses, the symptoms that they have are related to the excretory system. You'll either void more frequently, maybe vomiting or nausea or diarrhea. But beyond those kinds of symptoms, there are known side effects for most of the herbal plants. I think this is a really large factor, and is without doubt the most advantageous property of herbal medicine.
What kind of symptoms do you have? What is the most aggravation? If you could take care of what things that you're aggravated by, which of those things would you address?
Well, I'm
gonna give you.
I get to look it up. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna look it up for you.
I was gonna choose cramp bark and.
Oh, wait, hand to me, darling. You go this way. Go this way. You stop right there at that box and get blue cohosh.
That's at 10, right? That's at 10.
If the meniscus is sitting right on the mark. I said you work at eye level so that you can see what you're doing, okay? And then you tilt your ball so that you can, not too much, but just so that you can reach. You got to use your thumb to pull up, to draw from. Don't immerse your nipple of your syringe down into the herb. No, you don't want bubbles. You don't want bubbles. No, that's not tapping. You gotta strike it. It's striking.
I think this is something that definitely requires practice.
Not practice. It requires obedience. It's procedure and methodology, and it requires that you follow procedure and adhere to methodology.
And I've had that ball for almost 2 years.
Look at
and
that.
see it, it's about a little half. Because you don't use a lot. You just put a little bit on the tip of your tongue.
That's what you told me.
And you can feel it.
Yeah, you said Victor, and it sure worked.
It worked for me.
That's what you told me.
Right away they rushed me in and they scoped me and they said your whole stomach is horribly inflamed. You're bleeding. And there's nothing we can do for you. The standard response that I always get. So she put me on a herbal formula from Germany called Iberogast that sells for $18 a bottle. And within 3 days, my symptoms were like, I felt almost normal. And within a week, I felt fine.
People on the alternative side want to bash the physicians, the Western medicine people, and people on that side want to do the same thing to herbalists. Oh, it's folk medicine, it's folklore, it's wives' tales, you know, that stuff's in the movies, it's not for real. And they're not looking at the facts, and that's poor. And the people that are in the alternative health side, that every opportunity they have, they're going to put down the physicians. Well, I would really like to see some of these people be able to really and truly set a broken leg and pull that bone back in and really do a good job of it, okay? What I'm saying is that there is room and a need for our traditional Western medicine. They have made advances and discoveries that we'd never be able to do on the alternative side, okay? So there's a need for it, there's a place for it. But unfortunately, government today is weighted heavier on that side of the fence, and alternative, although it is growing in popularity and people are really starting to demand it now, so to speak, it's always has been looked at from the powers that be as, it doesn't really exist. It's not validated.
And there were enough people like myself who would have volunteered to go with supplies. I have over 200 preparations that are tinctures that would have lasted for a very long time. Infection would be cut down. The healing of and knitting of bone and skin, and there are herbs that will almost surgically stitch a wound, by internal use or from external application. It's like nature's sutures.
Between pharmaceuticals or Western traditional medicine and herbalism or alternative healing, there is room for both of them, and if we worked with them together through education and choice, then I do believe that yes, people can heal quicker.
You're basically walking into a pharmacy if you want to look at it like that. It's just herbs and other natural substances that are here to help the heals.
I think Brother Clements is doing a great thing by offering the herbal medicine to those that he knows. And he will also make you knowledgeable of what you're taking. He don't just say, here, take this. He give you a book and you read about the problems you're having, and then you choose the herbs that are made for that problem. And it takes us back to our years when we didn't have medicine. And that's what we use, herbal medicine. And that's what we need to get back to.
So part of it is knowing your own body well enough that you know when it's doing something that's off the charts. I have a bigger stake in knowing what's wrong with me than anyone. But a lot of it's about agency. And so I wouldn't be alive if I'd taken the first diagnosis I got. If you get a lame answer, leave the room. The gold mine is when you find a doctor who thinks broadly about you as more than just one system. But that might not be a doctor, that might have to be you.